You know, when I get a request to do something, to talk about something, I'll usually look at it. I'll look at my options. I'll see how I can address something in a unique way, and I don't script. I'm lazy. I don't fucking script. But I write down basic ideas of what I can remember, and I'll look at the ideas so that I can talk about them on camera. I'm not gonna do that right now, actually. I'm not gonna do that. The reason for that, strangely, it's not because I'm lazy. Not this time. But because no matter how many notes I take, it's much easier for me to just look at this thing. And I can draw my hate by just looking at it. And I don't know if it's really hate. I think it's just disappointment. And it's not even fully like I'm disappointed now, but I know I might be disappointed, and I don't want to be. So this is Mewthree. At least that's what everybody's calling it. The title of this video, the trailer that's probably running, I'm probably going to loop it a bajillion times because it's all I got. It was on the Pokemon YouTube channel with the title, A New Pokemon with a Familiar Look. So of course it looks like an evolution of Mewtwo, so everybody calls it Mewthree. Which is a stupid name, sure, but I wouldn't mind it if that's what they called it. There's just... Okay. Normally, I judge a Pokemon based on what I think its usefulness is. I don't generally go solely by looks. Togekiss, for example, is one of my favorite Pokemon because it's the cheapest, most annoying thing ever sometimes. And it's really dumb. It's really dumb looking. And I shouldn't like it because it's so dumb looking, but I do because it's so annoying. Unfortunately, with X and Y, I can really only judge on appearances, and because I don't know anything about them. This is the dumbest thing they could have. Like, I don't know what they could have possibly made Mewthree look like, but not this. It looks like if Majin Buu and Mewtwo had sex in an alleyway. And then the baby got fused with a headset crown for whatever reason. It's so dumb looking. It doesn't have the badassness that Mewtwo does. Because I'm looking at a picture right now of him standing to the right of Mewtwo. And when you look at Mewtwo, there's something about him that's cool and dark. I mean, he's got those weird chest plate boobs, but whatever, I'll ignore them. It's his face, the way his face is shaped, and it looks like a head with horns, and then the angry eyes, and that's cool. And then you look at Mewthree, and it quite literally looks like they just ripped off the little head thing from Majin Buu, stuck a triangle nose mouth on it, and some eyes. It's so dumb. It's so dumb looking to me to think that this would be the evolution of Mewtwo or the fusion of Mewtwo, and I'll get to the fusion part later. But enough about the looks. I mean, it's stupid. I can't change that. So, all right, what's gonna fail? What do I think is gonna fail? Well, I think it's the lore that's gonna fail. I mean, when it comes to other legendary Pokemon in the different regions, I mean, Pokemon has it really easy because they don't have to think of a backstory for any of their Pokemon. But they do. They give them backstories eventually, but most people don't really look into the backstories. They're just sort of there. The legendaries are there because they're legendary and they were always there. Mewtwo isn't like that. Mewtwo can't be that way. Mewthree cannot be this way. Mewtwo was created genetically with Mew's DNA. So he's sort of a legendary, but not really. He was man-made, which is what I love about him. He's so interesting in that regard. So he can't evolve. There can't be an evolution of him. So automatically, if that's what this thing is, if it is an evolution of Mewtwo in the sense where he evolves into this, that's wrong. I doubt that can happen. You can't genetically make a Pokemon out of Mew that evolves. It's stupid sounding. And there's no way they could execute that wouldn't be stupid. So, already that's a failure in terms of lore if they did that. They can't say this thing has been here. That's stupid. They can't just say this thing is always been here. That makes no sense. They can't do that. They can't just randomly say there's a thing that's like a man-made Pokemon that's over there. No, it doesn't work that way. Really, the only logical thing that they could do, there's 1.5 logical things. The logical thing that I hope they do is there's an interesting backstory revolved around people wanting to make another Mewtwo. I know, it's a repeat story, you know, they want to make another Mewtwo, and they make this thing, and you help them make it, and then it turns evil, of course, like Mewtwo did, and then you capture it, or maybe it's good and it helps you out, but for some reason it looks angry all the time. I don't know. So hopefully if they do something where you, the player, have a part in making this, then I'll feel a connection to the Pokemon, I'll feel like it contributed to my story as a player, and then I'll accept it. I'll accept this stupid-looking thing. And who knows, maybe a year from now I'll be like, wow, that was really cool backstory they gave that. You know, I really like this Pokemon, despite it looking really retarded now. But maybe I'll like it later. Maybe it's really good. Maybe it's a really good Pokemon. It had an interesting backstory. So, yeah, I hope they do that. And then there's, like, the 0.5 of how it could work. Which is, they're gonna do something with the DNA splicers, and you splice Mewtwo and Mew together. Now, that can happen. Do I want that to happen? No. No, I don't, actually. I don't... If they're gonna do things with the DNA splicers, I suggest they do it with newer Pokemon. None of the old ones. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a few old ones you could put together, but none of the old legendaries. I don't want to see that. It just seems like a dumb idea, specifically with Mewtwo and Mew. Like, out of all the legendaries, like Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice, and Reggie Steel. That would be kind of neat for the DNA splicers, and you could make Reggie Gigas or whatever. I mean, that'd be kind of annoying to get Reggie Gigas, but maybe they'd buff him up or whatever, because he kind of sucks now, in my opinion. They can't do that with Mewtwo and Mew. I mean, to me, this is like the most immature way I could possibly think about this, but to me, it's like incest. I mean, it's taking a piece of Mew, making it into a Pokemon, and then putting them back together, and then you get something different that's deformed and retarded. It's incest to me. And let's say, and again, that brings me to another point. If you splice Mewtwo with Mew, a Pokemon made from Mew's cells, it's basically the same DNA structure, just a little bit different to make them evil or whatever. If you fuse them together, I would think you wouldn't get a new Pokemon entirely. I would think that you would get something like you'd get a more powerful version of Mew or Mewtwo. I don't think you'd get a new one. That's just my opinion. I mean, it doesn't seem like that would work. Just the DNA splicer idea would not work with this Pokemon. It doesn't fit. If you want to splice things together, that's cool, but don't do it with a Pokemon that's like genetically man-made, and then you put it with the same thing. It doesn't work. It's retarded in my mind. So really, this Pokemon, unless they do what I suggested and make it part of the story where I make it and I have the connection to it, then really, it's gonna fail, in my eyes. I think it'll fail. I think it'll be stupid. I think it'll make no sense. But I know everybody's just gonna say it's cool because it's Pokemon and they can fuse whatever the fuck they want. And I guess up until recently, I'd say, yeah, that's fine, whatever, they could do whatever they want. But they can't, because they've been evolving on how Pokemon become a part of the player's story in the newest Mystery Dungeon game, which I haven't talked about. I was going to make a video about it, but might as well talk about it here. In that game, they made meeting other Pokemon more interesting. In the original Mystery Dungeon games, you'd meet other Pokemon. You'd meet, like, Alakazam and Gengar's team, and you'd be like, wow, I wish they could help me, but they don't. In the new one, you meet someone that's cool. You meet Umbreon, and you're like, wow, he's really cool and important to the story. I wish he'd join me. And then he does. And then you feel he's important when he's in your party because he has a connection to you, because he's part of the story. Which shows, even though it's not part of the main Pokemon games, it's evolving the way Pokemon is working. Which is exactly what they're trying to do with X and Y, I think. Where they're evolving it, making it more interesting. The 3D environment, everything is open, everything is new. They gotta make it interesting, and they gotta make it better. So then people don't say it's just the same old shit. So, really, to me, this seems like a step backwards. Unless they do the thing I suggested, or expand upon what I suggested. Or who knows, maybe they'll think of something that's so creatively ridiculous that it's just so amazing. They'll have Mew and Mewtwo butt fuck in front of you, and then this thing crawls out of one of their asses. I don't know, it'll be so amazing that I won't even care. So I guess we'll just have to wait. Really, closing thoughts on this. It's dumb. It's dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. I don't see how this is going to work. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed. I really hope it's not disappointing. I really hope that an evolution of one of my favorite Pokemon, Mewtwo, is not disappointing, and in fact an improvement upon Mewtwo. I mean, I had the movie, Pokemon, the movie, when I was little, and that movie's a piece of shit. Like, I've seen it now when I'm older, and I can tell you it's a piece of shit. But it had my childhood. That was my childhood, that movie. So, and Pokemon in general. So I can tell you, despite Mewtwo having a pretty shitty backstory, it's just, oh, they make him and now he's bad. He's bad because he feels like it, and he wants to kill everybody because he can. In that movie, at least. It's kind of shitty, but I don't care. He's still cool to me. He was awesome. He was shitty in Super Smash Bros. Melee, but I liked him anyway. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I hope they make the evolution of Mewtwo cool. I hope they make this stupid-looking thing awesome. Can they get rid of the stupid headset thing? The loop around his head. Oh my god, it's stupid. But yeah, that's it. So, see you guys next time whenever something new or interesting happens about X and Y. I didn't talk about the evolution, because who gives a fuck? It's an evolution that doesn't interest me in the slightest. I want to hear more information about the light types and sound types. In all honesty, I want to hear stuff about that. So when I hear something new and you guys tell me, I guarantee you I'm not going to hear it before you guys. You're going to probably tell me. So when you tell me, I'll talk about it. So see you guys next time. Bye.